There are moments, rare moments, when time itself seems to pause, not because the world has stopped, but because something greater has stepped in. Something unseen. Something intentional. And if you are hearing this right now, then listen closely, because this is one of those moments. You didn't just stumble upon this message. You didn't randomly click, scroll, or pause here by accident. No, something in you hesitated, didn't it? Something told you, wait, listen to this. That wasn't curiosity. That was calling. That was alignment. That was heaven interrupting your routine to speak directly into your spirit. And now, there is a date echoing in the spiritual realm with unusual intensity. July 21st. Why does that day feel different? Why does it sit in your chest with a quiet weight you can't explain? Why does it feel like something is approaching, even though nothing in your physical world has changed yet? Because something has changed. Long before this moment, long before today, long before you even became aware of it, heaven marked this day. Not casually, not symbolically, but deliberately. July 21st has been written into your timeline as a point of intersection, where what has been delayed begins to move, where what hath been hidden begins to surface, where what has been prepared begins to arrive. And here is what you must understand. Divine moments don't announce themselves loudly at first. They whisper. They nudge. They create a subtle unease, a holy tension that makes you feel like something is shifting, even when everything looks the same. Have you felt that? That strange pull in your spirit lately, that quiet restlessness you can't explain, that feeling that something is about to happen, but you don't know what that is. Not anxiety. That is awareness. That is your spirit picking up on movement before your mind can make sense of it. Because even now, before July 21st fully arrives, something has already been released in the unseen. Archangel Michael does not step forward without purpose. He does not speak without reason. And when he brings a message like this, it is not casual, it is precise. It is time. It is urgent in a way that does not create fear but demands attention. He is not here to disturb you. He is here to prepare you. Because a rare gift, something not common, not ordinary, not easily understood, is already moving toward you. And the reason you are being told now is because your awareness must rise before its arrival. But here's where it gets even more intense. While you are just beginning to sense it, others around you have already started reacting to it. You may have noticed it. People acting slightly different around you. Energy shifting in conversations. Unexplained tension. Silent observation. They don't know what it is. They can't name it. But they can feel it. Because when something rare is assigned to your life, it doesn't just affect you, it disturbs the atmosphere around you. It creates ripples. It sends signals. It announces, in the spirit, that something valuable is approaching even before it fully arrives. And not everyone will understand that. Some will misread it. Some will resist it. Some will feel uncomfortable without knowing why. But you are being given a different position. You are being invited into awareness. This is why this moment matters. This is why you had to hear this before July 21st. Because preparation is not about changing what's coming. It's about aligning yourself so you don't miss it. Too many people pray for breakthroughs but fail to recognize them when they arrive. Too many people ask for blessings but are not spiritually positioned to receive them. But you are not being left in the dark. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now, not just as a protector but as a revealer. And his message is clear. Be alert. Be still. Be ready. Because what is approaching your life is not ordinary, and you must meet it with awareness, not distraction. So from this moment forward, pay attention. Pay attention to what you feel. Pay attention to what shifts. Pay attention to what no longer feels the same. Because July 21st is not just a date. It is a doorway. And you are standing right in front of it. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you feel this stirring in your spirit. Blessing code 2121 is now lining around your path. Before anything truly significant enters your life, it rarely announces itself with noise. It doesn't come crashing through doors or demanding your attention in obvious ways. No, it begins as a whisper, a subtle shift, a quiet stirring deep within you that you cannot fully explain, yet you cannot ignore it either. And what you have been feeling lately, that unexplainable tension, that inner pull, that sense that something is different, this is not random. This is the whisper before the arrival. You may have tried to dismiss it. You may have told yourself it's just stress, just overthinking, just a passing mood. But if you are honest with yourself, this feels deeper than that. It feels intentional. It feels like something is moving just beyond your physical awareness, brushing against your spirit, trying to get your attention without overwhelming you. That is how divine movement often begins, not with force, but with invitation. Think about the last few days, or even the last few weeks. Haven't you noticed how your thoughts have shifted? How certain things that once felt normal now feel out of place? How your tolerance for negativity has decreased, and your awareness of people's energy has become sharper. You are noticing things you used to overlook. You are sensing things before they fully happen. You are feeling drawn inward, almost as if something is preparing you quietly behind the scenes. That is not coincidence. That is preparation. Because when a rare gift is moving toward you, your spirit begins adjusting before your life does. There is an internal alignment that must take place so that when the moment arrives, you are not caught unaware. And this alignment often feels like discomfort before it feels like clarity. It feels like restlessness before it feels like peace. It feels like questions before it becomes confirmation. You may have also felt moments of sudden emotion, waves that come without warning. A brief heaviness, then a strange calm, a sense of anticipation, followed by silence. These emotional fluctuations are not weakness. They are signals. Your spirit is responding to something your physical senses have not yet caught up to. It is as if part of you already knows what is coming, but it has not fully reached your conscious understanding yet. And then there are the signs. Not loud, dramatic signs, but subtle ones. Repeated thoughts that won't leave you. Certain ideas resurfacing again and again. A name, a place, a direction that keeps appearing in your mind without clear reason. You try to ignore it, but it returns. You try to rationalize it, but it lingers. This is how the unseen begins to communicate with the seen. Not through force, but through repetition. Not through pressure, but through persistence. Even your environment may feel different. Conversations may feel slightly off. People may seem more distant, or strangely more attentive. Some may watch you more closely than before, while others may withdraw without explanation. This shift is not about them. It is about what is approaching you. When something valuable is moving toward your life, it creates a ripple effect in your surroundings. The atmosphere begins to adjust, and those around you feel it, even if they cannot explain it. And here is where it becomes even more important to stay aware, because not every whisper feels comfortable. Some whispers feel like uncertainty. Some feel like disruption. Some feel like things are being unsettled within you. But understand this clearly. Before something new can enter, something old must loosen its grip. What you are feeling is not chaos. It is transition. It is the quiet reordering of your inner world so that you can receive what is meant for you without resistance. Archangel Michael speaks into this moment with precision, not confusion. He does not want you to misinterpret this season. He wants you to recognize it. He wants you to understand that what feels like instability is actually alignment in progress. What feels like distance is actually preparation. What feels like silence is actually strategy. This is the stage where many people lose clarity. They mistake the whisper for nothing. They ignore the signs. They return to distraction. And because of that, when the moment of arrival comes, they are unprepared to receive it fully. But you are being warned ahead of time. You are being guided to stay present, to stay aware, to stay connected to what you are feeling instead of dismissing it. So do not rush through this phase. Do not numb what you feel. Do not distract yourself away from this awareness. Lean into it. Observe it. Trust that there is meaning behind it. Because this whisper you are experiencing right now is not empty. It is carrying information. It is carrying preparation. It is carrying the first signal that something rare is already closer than you think. And very soon the whisper will become undeniable. Type "I trust the process" in the comments if you feel this shift within you. Blessing code 2233 is now activating around your spirit. Here is something you must understand clearly before anything else unfolds, because if you misunderstand this part, you may misinterpret everything that follows. The gift that is moving toward you is not what most people would expect. It is not something you can easily explain. It is not something you can simply hold in your hands, display to others, or measure by ordinary standards. This is why it is rare. This is why it is misunderstood. And this is why it must be defined by heaven, not by man. You have been conditioned, just like everyone else, to recognize value in very specific ways. Money, status, recognition, visible success. These are the things the world trains you to look for. These are the things people celebrate, chase, and compare. But what is coming toward you does not fit neatly into those categories. In fact, at first, it may not even look like a gift at all. It may look like a shift, a door, a vision, a realization, a sudden clarity that changes everything inside you before it changes anything around you. And this is where many people miss it. Because when something does not look the way they expected, they dismiss it. When it does not match their idea of success, they overlook it. When it does not come wrapped in obvious form, they question it. But heaven does not operate according to human expectation. Heaven operates according to purpose. And what is being released to you has been designed specifically for your path, your calling, your timing. This gift carries weight, not physical weight, but spiritual weight. A kind of weight that shifts direction. The kind of weight that changes how you see yourself, how you move, how you decide, how you respond. It is not just something you receive. It is something that transforms you. It alters your awareness. It sharpens your discernment. It elevates your understanding beyond what you were previously able to perceive. And here is the truth that may surprise you: you have already been prepared for it. Everything you have gone through recently, the confusion, the waiting, the internal shifts, the moments where nothing seemed to make sense, none of that was wasted. None of that was random. It was all preparation. Because a gift like this cannot be handed to someone who is not ready to carry it. It requires a certain level of awareness, a certain level of maturity, a certain level of spiritual sensitivity that you have been developing, even when you did not realize it. That is why this gift is not being given to everyone. It is being given to you. Not because you are better than others, but because you are positioned differently. You have been stretched in ways others have not. You have been made to see what others ignored. You have been forced into awareness when others chose comfort. And now, that positioning is about to meet its purpose. But understand this carefully, this gift will not always feel comfortable. At first, it may feel overwhelming. It may feel like too much clarity at once, too much awareness, too much responsibility. Because when you begin to see things more clearly, you can no longer return to the way you used to think. When you begin to understand things on a deeper level, you can no longer participate in what once felt normal. This is why spiritual gifts often feel like disruption before they feel like blessing. And yet it is still a gift, because it will place you ahead of situations before they unfold. It will allow you to recognize truth where others see confusion. It will guide your decisions in ways that protect you from paths that are not meant for you. It will open doors that cannot be explained logically, and close doors that you once thought you needed. This is the kind of gift that changes outcomes, and that is why it is so valuable. But here is where it becomes even more important for you to stay grounded, because while heaven defines this gift as valuable, the world may not. People around you may not understand it. They may not recognize it for what it is. Some may even question it, dismiss it, or misinterpret it completely. Not because they are against you, but because they do not have the perspective to see what you are being given. And this is where your awareness must remain strong. You cannot rely on external validation for something that is internally revealed. You cannot expect others to confirm what they were not meant to receive. This gift is not meant to be explained to everyone. It is meant to be carried by you. Archangel Michael is not bringing this message so you can seek approval. He is bringing it so you can recognize alignment. So when this gift begins to manifest, you do not hesitate. You do not doubt. You do not second-guess what you already feel in your spirit. Because you will feel it. You will know. You will not be loud, but it will be certain. And in that moment, you will understand why it had to come this way. Why it had to be prepared this way. Why it had to be given to you. Type "I accept what is meant for me" in the comments. Blessing code 3337 is now sealing this alignment over your path. As this revelation settles into your spirit, understand this: every time a message like this reaches you, it is not just for you alone. There are others wandering in confusion, waiting for a word that will awaken them just as this one is awakening you. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into a harvest of souls that are ready to receive light. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you," not as a distant promise, but as a living flow that multiplies through obedience. I invite you now. Step into this moment and let your giving become a seed of divine impact, reaching lives you may never see, but heaven will always count. This is your moment to act, not later, not someday, but now. Release your seed and become part of what God is expanding. There is a shift happening around you that cannot be hidden, no matter how quiet you remain. Even if you say nothing, even if you try to move normally, even if you attempt to blend into your usual rhythm, something about you has already begun to change. And the truth is, people can feel it. They may not speak about it directly. They may not even realize what they are sensing. But something in their spirit is reacting to what is unfolding in yours. This is where things can begin to feel confusing if you are not grounded in awareness. Because the reactions you receive from others will not always match the reality of what is happening. Some people will become distant without explanation. Others may watch you more closely than before, studying your words, your actions, your presence. Some may even respond with subtle tension, irritation, or unease even though you have done nothing to cause it. And if you are not careful, you may begin to question yourself, wondering if you have changed in a negative way or if you have done something wrong. But listen carefully. This is not about what you have done. This is about what is being activated within you. When something rare begins to move toward your life, it does not arrive quietly in the spiritual sense. It creates a disturbance in the unseen that others can feel, even if they cannot interpret it. It is like a signal being released, an announcement that something of value is approaching, something that carries weight, purpose, and transformation. And while you are being prepared to receive it, others are simply reacting to its presence without understanding its origin. That is why their responses may feel misplaced, because they are sensing value without understanding purpose. They are feeling the shift without knowing the source. They are reacting to the change without recognizing the reason. And this creates a disconnect. Some may interpret your growth as distance. Others may see your clarity as arrogance. Some may feel uncomfortable around your energy, not because you have done anything wrong, but because your presence is now reflecting something they are not ready to confront within themselves. This is what happens when alignment begins. You do not just move forward, you also reveal what no longer aligns. And this is where many people become distracted. They start focusing on the reactions instead of the reason. They start trying to fix what is not broken. They start adjusting themselves to maintain comfort for others, instead of staying aligned with what is being prepared for them. But you cannot afford to do that now, because what is happening around you is not meant to pull you backward. It is meant to confirm that something forward is already in motion. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity in this moment. Do not confuse reaction with truth. What others feel is not always accurate, and what they project is not always real. Their perception is limited to what they understand, and what they understand is shaped by their own level of awareness. You are stepping into something that was not designed for everyone to comprehend, and because of that, you cannot expect everyone to respond with understanding. Some will sense it and become curious. Some will sense it and become cautious. Some will sense it and become uncomfortable. And some will sense it and become resistant. But none of that changes what is actually happening, because what is being released to you is not dependent on their understanding. It is not diminished by their confusion. It is not delayed by their reaction. It is already in motion, already assigned, already aligned with your path. This is why your focus must remain internal. You must learn to observe without absorbing, to recognize without reacting, to remain steady even when the energy around you feels unstable. Because the moment you begin to internalize their confusion, you risk disconnecting from your own clarity. And this is exactly where many people lose alignment. They allow external reactions to override internal truth. But you are being warned ahead of time. So when you notice the shift in others, you do not panic. When you feel the tension, you do not shrink. When you sense the misunderstanding, you do not explain yourself unnecessarily. You remain grounded. You remain aware. You remain aligned. Because the reality is this: people can sense value long before they understand it. They can feel importance long before they can define it. And sometimes, that lack of understanding creates reactions that have nothing to do with you personally, but everything to do with what is being activated in your life. So let them feel what they feel. Let them interpret what they interpret. Let them respond in the way they choose. But you, stay anchored in what you know, because very soon, what they cannot understand now will become undeniable. And when that moment comes, you will not need to explain anything. It will speak for itself. Type I remain aligned in the comments. Lesson code 4442 is now strengthening your spiritual stability. There is a truth you cannot avoid any longer, even if part of you has tried to downplay it, ignore it, or question it. What is happening in your life right now is not random. It is not accidental. And it is certainly not ordinary. You have been chosen, not in a way that elevates your ego, but in a way that places responsibility on your spirit. And that responsibility carries weight. Not a physical weight that others can see, but a spiritual weight that you have already begun to feel. That pressure you sensed lately, that inner intensity, that awareness that something is different about you now that is not your imagination. That is the weight of being entrusted with something rare. Because when heaven selects someone for a specific moment, a specific assignment, or a specific gift, it does not come lightly. It comes with expectation. It comes with awareness. It comes with a level of responsibility that cannot be ignored once it is recognized. And this is where many people misunderstand what it means to be chosen. They assume it means ease. They assume it means constant clarity. They assume it means immediate reward. But the truth is, being chosen often feels like pressure before it feels like privilege. It feels like being stretched beyond what you thought you could handle. It feels like being pushed into awareness when you would rather remain comfortable. It feels like being asked to carry something that others around you do not even see, let alone understand. And that can feel isolating. Because when you begin to carry this kind of weight, you realize that not everyone around you is equipped to walk with you through it. Not everyone will understand the decisions you start making. Not everyone will relate to the boundaries you begin to set. Not everyone will see why you are changing, why you are pulling back from certain environments, why you are becoming more selective with your energy. But this is not a mistake. This is alignment. Because the moment you are chosen for something greater, you are also separated from what can no longer support that level of responsibility. Not as punishment, but as preparation. Not to isolate you, but to position you. And this is where your strength must come from within, not from external validation. You cannot look around and expect confirmation from people who are not carrying what you are carrying. You cannot expect understanding from those who have not been stretched in the same way. You cannot expect comfort in a season that is designed to prepare you for something uncommon. Archangel Michael speaks directly into this moment with authority. Do not shrink from what has been placed on you. Do not try to reduce the weight just to feel normal again. Do not attempt to return to a version of yourself that no longer fits the level you are stepping into. Because what you are carrying now is not meant to feel ordinary. It is meant to feel significant. It is meant to shift how you move, how you think, how you respond. It is meant to create a deeper level of awareness within you that guides you differently than before. And yes, it may feel uncomfortable at times. It may feel heavy at moments. But that does not mean it is wrong. It means it is real. And here is something you must hold on to. You were not given this weight without the capacity to carry it. Everything you have experienced up until this point have been building your ability to handle this moment. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of confusion, every time you were forced to grow when you did not want to, all of it was strengthening you for this exact season. You are not unprepared. You are not unequipped. You are not in over your head. You are exactly where you need to be. But with this understanding comes a decision. You can either embrace the weight and grow into it or resist it and remain where you are. And that choice will determine how this next phase unfolds for you. Because being chosen is not just about receiving something. It is about becoming someone who can sustain it. It is about stepping into a level of awareness where you no longer move casually, where you no longer make decisions without intention, where you no longer ignore what your spirit is trying to tell you. This is where your discipline begins to matter. This is where your focus becomes critical. This is where your alignment determines your outcome. And while others may not see it yet, while others may not understand what you are carrying, that does not reduce its value. It only confirms that it was not meant for everyone. So do not measure your experience by their understanding. Do not question your path because others cannot relate to it. Do not shrink your awareness just to maintain comfort with what is familiar. Stand firm in what you feel. Stand grounded in what you know. Stand steady in what is being developed within you. Because the weight you are carrying now is preparing you for something you will not be able to step into without it. Type "I accept the calling" in the comments. Blessing code 5559 is now strengthening your capacity to carry what has been placed upon you. There is something you need to recognize in this moment, and it may not be comfortable to hear, but it is necessary if you are going to remain aligned with what is approaching your life. Whenever something rare, something meaningful, something spiritually significant begins moving toward your resistance does not stay silent. It rises. Not always loudly, not always aggressively, but subtly, strategically, and often in ways that are easy to overlook if you are not paying attention. And if you have been feeling like things around you have become slightly more complicated, slightly more tense, slightly more draining than usual, that is not your imagination. That is the hidden resistance beginning to surface as the gift draws closer. You may have noticed it in small ways at first. Plans that once moved smoothly now feel delayed. Conversations that used to be simple now feel layered with unspoken tension. People who once felt easy to be around now feel unpredictable, distant, or even slightly confrontational without clear reason. Situations that should not require much effort suddenly demand more of your energy than expected. This is how resistance often begins, not as something obvious, but as a series of subtle disruptions designed to shift your focus, drain your energy, and pull your attention away from what truly matters. Because understand this clearly, resistance does not always come to stop you directly. Sometimes it comes to distract you long enough that you stop yourself. It shows up as overthinking. It shows up as emotional fatigue. It shows up as doubt that feels convincing. It shows up as unnecessary conflict. It shows up as distractions that seem urgent but are not important. And if you are not aware of it, you can easily become entangled in it, spending your energy responding to things that were never meant to hold your attention in the first place. This is why your awareness in this phase is critical, because what is approaching you requires clarity, not confusion. It requires focus, not distraction. It requires alignment, not reaction. And yet, the closer you get to it, the more these subtle forms of resistance will attempt to interfere with your ability to stay centered. Archangel Michael speaks into this moment with precision and authority. Do not misinterpret the resistance as a sign to retreat. Do not assume that difficulty means you are moving in the wrong direction. In many cases, resistance is not a warning to stop. It is confirmation that you are getting closer. But here is where you must be careful, because not all resistance is external. Some of it will rise from within you. Old patterns of thinking may resurface. Old fears you thought you had moved past may try to reappear. Moments of self-doubt may feel stronger than usual. You may question your readiness, your worth, your ability to handle what is coming. And this internal resistance can be even more powerful than anything happening around you, because it speaks in your own voice. It feels familiar. It feels believable. But it is still resistance. It is still an attempt to pull you back into a level you have already outgrown. You must recognize it for what it is. Not truth. Not reality. but a response to the shift that is happening. Because when you begin to step into something greater, anything that is not aligned with that level will attempt to reassert itself one final time. Not because it has power over you, but because it is losing its hold on you. And this is the moment where your discipline must become stronger than your discomfort. You cannot allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent direction. You cannot allow distractions to derail alignment. You cannot allow resistance, whether external or internal, to convince you to step away from what has already been prepared for you. This is where you learn to move differently. You observe without immediately reacting. You feel without immediately responding. You recognize patterns without becoming consumed by them. You stay centered, even when the environment around you feels unstable. Because the truth is, the resistance is not there to defeat you. It is there to reveal whether you are ready to move forward without being pulled back. And you are. But readiness is not just about intention. It is about consistency. It is about staying aligned even when it is inconvenient. It is about maintaining clarity even when things feel uncertain. It is about trusting what you know internally, even when everything externally seems to be shifting. So as this resistance rises, do not panic. Do not overreact. Do not give it more attention than it deserves. Instead, recognize it, acknowledge it, and then remain steady. Because what is coming toward you is not fragile. It will not be easily lost. But your ability to receive it fully depends on your ability to remain focused as you move through this phase. And this phase is temporary. The resistance will pass. The distractions will fade. The tension will settle. But what remains will be what you were being prepared for all along. Stay focused in the comments. Lesson code 6663 is now reinforcing your clarity and protection. There is a moment that comes before every significant shift, before every meaningful arrival, before every rare gift fully enters your life, and it is a moment that many people fail to recognize until it has already passed. It is not a moment of celebration. It is not a moment of clarity. It is a moment of testing. A quiet, subtle, deeply personal test that determines whether you are truly ready to receive what has been prepared for you. And that test is the test of discernment. Because as the gift draws closer, everything around you will not become clearer at once. In fact, for a brief period, things may feel more uncertain than ever. Opportunities may appear that seem right, but carry something slightly off beneath the surface. Conversations may arise that sound positive, but leave a lingering sense of discomfort you cannot explain. Choices may present themselves that look beneficial on the outside, but do not align with what you feel internally. And this is not confusion by accident. This is precision by design. Because before something valuable is placed into your life, you must be able to recognize what does not belong there. You must be able to separate what is aligned from what is merely appealing. You must be able to distinguish between what is truly meant for you and what is simply passing through your path as a distraction. And this is where discernment becomes your greatest tool. Not logic alone, not emotion alone, but a deeper awareness that goes beyond what is visible, beyond what is spoken, beyond what is presented at face value. You will begin to notice this in real time. Something will feel right on the surface, but something within you will hesitate. You may not have clear evidence. You may not have a logical explanation. But there will be a quiet signal within you that says, pay attention. Look deeper. Do not rush this. That signal is not doubt. It is guidance. And ignoring it will cost you alignment. Because the test of discernment is not about making perfect decisions. It is about listening to what your spirit is already telling you before your mind tries to override it. It is about trusting that inner awareness even when it does not come with immediate proof. Archangel Michael speaks into this moment with unwavering authority. Do not be quick to accept everything that appears good. Not everything that looks like an opportunity is meant to be received. Not everything that feels familiar is meant to be revisited. Not everything that presents itself as progress is aligned with your purpose. This is where many people lose their position. They rush. They assume. They accept without questioning. They move forward without pausing. And in doing so, they step into situations that delay what was actually meant for them. But you are being warned before that happens. You are being prepared to slow down in moments that seem urgent, to observe in moments that feel clear, to question in moments that seem obvious. Because discernment is not about fear, it is about clarity, and clarity requires patience. You may find yourself in situations where others are encouraging you to act quickly, to decide immediately, to move forward without hesitation. They may not understand why you pause. They may not understand why you take time to observe instead of reacting. But this is where your strength must remain steady, because the urgency you feel around you is not always real. Sometimes it is pressure. Sometimes it is distraction. Sometimes it is simply misalignment disguised as opportunity. And your ability to recognize that will determine how smoothly you step into what is truly meant for you. There will also be moments where something from your past attempts to re-enter your life. A familiar connection, a familiar situation, a familiar pattern that once felt comfortable, and may come in a different form, a different tone, a different presentation. It may seem improved, corrected, or changed. But this is where your discernment must go deeper, because not everything that returns is transformed. Some things return simply because they sense your transition. And if you are not careful, you may allow something back into your life that no longer aligns with who you have become. This is not about rejecting everything. This is about recognizing what is truly aligned. And alignment will not always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels calm. Sometimes it feels steady. Sometimes it feels quiet. But it will always feel right. Not rushed. Not forced. Not pressured. Right. And that is what you must look for. Because once this phase passes, once this test is complete, once you have moved through these moments of decision with clarity and awareness, the path ahead becomes much clearer. The distractions lose their hold. The confusion fades. The alignment strengthens. And the gift that has been moving toward you will no longer feel distant. It will feel present. But whether you receive it fully depends on how you move right now. So do not rush. Do not assume. Do not ignore what you feel. Trust it. Follow it. Let it guide you through this moment. Because this test is not here to block you. It is here to position you. Type "I choose discernment" in the comments. Blessing code 7771 is now sharpening your spiritual awareness. There comes a moment after the whispers, after the resistance, after the testing, when everything shifts from preparation into reality. It does not arrive the way you imagined. It does not announce itself with noise or spectacle. But when it happens, you will know. Not because someone tells you, not because it is obvious to everyone around you, but because something inside you will settle into a certainty that cannot be explained. This is the moment of transfer. And when this moment arrives, it will feel both sudden and familiar at the same time. Sudden, because it will happen in a way you did not predict. Familiar, because deep within you, it will feel like something you have been waiting for, even if you could never put it into words. This is how divine alignment works. It does not always match your expectations, but it always confirms your spirit. You may be going about your day, doing something ordinary. When it happens, a conversation shifts, a door opens, a realization lands with undeniable clarity. A connection forms that feels different from anything before it. It may not look extraordinary on the outside. Others may not recognize it in the moment, but you will feel the weight of it immediately. Because this gift does not arrive loudly. It arrives precisely. It arrives at the exact moment your awareness is ready to receive it. And when it does, something within you will change instantly. Not gradually, not slowly, instantly. Your perception will sharpen. Your understanding will deepen. You will begin to see how everything that led up to this moment connects in a way that was not clear before. Situations that once felt confusing will suddenly make sense. Delays that once frustrated you will reveal their purpose. Even the challenges you faced will begin to feel like necessary steps that positioned you exactly where you needed to be. This is the confirmation. This is how you will know that the gift has arrived. Not because everything around you changes immediately, but because everything within you does. And yet, even in this moment, there is something you must remain aware of. Because when something valuable is transferred into your life, it must be protected. Not from loss, but from misalignment. Because what is given to you in clarity can be distorted if you return to confusion. What is received in awareness can be weakened if you allow distraction to take over again. This is why Archangel Michael speaks with urgency in this phase. When the moment comes, do not hesitate. Do not question what you already feel. Do not seek external confirmation for something that has already been confirmed within you. You will not need validation. You will not need approval. You will not need explanation. Because the certainty you feel will be enough. And this is where many people make a critical mistake. They receive the moment and then they begin to doubt it. They overanalyze it. They seek opinions from others who cannot see what they see. They try to fit it into logic that was never meant to contain it. And in doing so, they create confusion where there was once clarity. But you cannot afford to do that now. Because this moment has been prepared too precisely. It has been aligned too intentionally. It has been positioned too carefully. And once it arrives, your role is not to question it. Your role is to step into it. Fully, without hesitation, without retreat, without dilution. Because this is not just a gift. It is a shift in direction. A shift that will begin to open new paths, new opportunities, new levels of understanding that were not accessible to you before. It will influence your decisions moving forward. It will change how you approach situations. It will refine your awareness in ways that continue to guide you long after this moment has passed. And while others may still be trying to understand what has changed about you, you will no longer feel the need to explain it. Because you will know. And that knowing will be enough. This is the moment everything begins to align. This is the moment everything begins to move. This is the moment the rare gift is no longer approaching but present. So when it happens, receive it. Do not resist it. Do not question it. Do not delay your response to it. Step into it. Because this is what you have been prepared for. Type I receive IT now in the comments. Blessing code 8884 is now activating your moment of transfer. As this moment of transfer becomes real in your spirit, understand that what is being released through you is not meant to stop with you. Every revelation, every awakening, every divine insight is a seed meant to multiply into the lives of others who are still searching in darkness. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving. You are sowing into a river of light that flows into countless unseen lives. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days," and this is that moment of casting. I speak this over you now. As you release your seed, heaven releases increase, clarity, and favor back into your life. Step forward in faith, act in obedience, and become part of what God is expanding right now. Give now and align your action with this divine flow. Once the moment of transfer has taken place, once the gift is no longer something approaching but something present within your life, there is a shift that begins to unfold. And this shift is not external at first. It does not immediately change your surroundings. It does not instantly rearrange every circumstance around you. Instead, it begins where all true transformation starts, within you. And this is where everything becomes undeniable. Because the moment this gift settles into your life, you will begin to notice that you are no longer thinking the same way. Situations that once confused you will now feel clear. Decisions that once took time will now come with certainty. You will begin to respond differently, not because you are forcing change, but because something inside you has already changed. This is the transformation that the gift ignites. It is not loud. It is not forced. It is natural. It is the result of alignment finally taking root within you. You will begin to see patterns you never noticed before. You will recognize intentions in people more quickly. You will sense what is aligned and what is not without needing long explanations or external confirmation. And while others may still operate in uncertainty, you will find yourself moving with a level of clarity that feels unfamiliar at first, but deeply right. And this clarity will begin to influence every area of your life. Your decisions will become more intentional. Your time will become more protected. Your energy will become more guarded. You will no longer feel the need to entertain what drains you. You will no longer feel obligated to engage in what no longer aligns. You will begin to choose differently, not out of fear, not out of avoidance, but out of awareness. And this is where the transformation becomes visible. Not through what you say, but through how you move. Others will begin to notice it, even if they cannot fully understand it. They will see that you are not reacting the same way. They will see that you are no longer easily pulled into situations that once affected you. They will sense that there is a level of steadiness in you that was not there before. And some will admire it. Some will question it. Some will feel uncomfortable around it. But regardless of their reaction, the transformation will continue. Because this change is not dependent on them. It is rooted within you. And as it deepens, you will also begin to notice something else. Your tolerance for what is misaligned will decrease significantly. Things that you once overlooked will now stand out clearly. Environments that once felt normal will now feel restrictive. Conversations that once felt acceptable will now feel unnecessary or even draining. This is not you becoming distant. This is you becoming aligned. Because the gift you have received is not just adding something to your life. It is refining everything within it. It is recalibrating your awareness so that you naturally move toward what supports your growth and away from what limits it. And this process may feel uncomfortable at times, because transformation requires adjustment. It requires letting go of what no longer fits. It requires stepping away from what once felt familiar. It requires trusting what you feel, even when it leads you in a direction that others may not understand. But this discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is working. Archangel Michael speaks clearly in this phase. Do not resist the transformation once it begins. Do not attempt to hold on to what is being released. Do not try to return to a version of yourself that no longer aligns with what has been activated within you. Because once this shift begins, It cannot be reversed. Not because you are being forced forward, but because you will no longer be able to ignore what you now see. And this is where your power truly begins to grow. Because transformation is not just about change. It is about expansion. It is about stepping into a version of yourself that operates with greater awareness, greater clarity, and greater intention. It is about moving through life with a sense of direction that is no longer influenced by confusion or distraction. You will begin to trust yourself more. You will begin to rely less on external validation. You will begin to move with a quiet confidence that does not need to be explained. And this is when everything around you will start to respond differently. Because when you change internally, your external world begins to adjust accordingly. Opportunities will begin to align more naturally. Situations will begin to resolve more clearly. Paths that once felt blocked will begin to open, not because something outside you changed first, but because you did. This is the true impact of the gift. It does not just add to your life. It transforms it from within. So as this process unfolds, do not question it. Do not resist it. Do not try to control it. Allow it. Trust it. Move with it. Because this transformation is not taking something away from you. It is revealing who you were meant to become all along. Type "I embrace the change" in the comments. Blessing code 9992 is now activating your transformation. There is a part of this journey that few people talk about honestly, yet it is one of the most defining stages of all. After the gift has arrived, after the transformation has begun, after your awareness has shifted, something else starts to happen quietly, yet powerfully. It is not something you force. It is not something you initiate. It is something that unfolds naturally as a result of who you are becoming. And that is separation, not punishment, not loss without purpose, but alignment through release. Because elevation does not only add to your life, it also removes what can no longer remain. And this is where many people become confused if they are not prepared for it. You may begin to notice that certain relationships start to feel different. Conversations that once flowed easily now feel strained or unnecessary. People who once felt close may begin to drift, not because of conflict, but because the connection itself no longer holds the same alignment it once did. And if you are not grounded in understanding, you may try to fix it. You may try to hold on. You may try to return things to the way they were. But this is where you must pause and recognize what is truly happening. Because what feels like distance is actually direction. What feels like loss is actually refinement. What feels like separation is actually alignment. You are not being pulled away from people or environments without reason. You are being repositioned into a space where what you have received can grow without interference. Because not everything that was once part of your life is meant to carry forward into this next phase. And that does not make those things bad. It simply means they are no longer aligned. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, because it challenges your sense of familiarity. It asks you to release what once felt normal, what once felt comfortable, what once felt like part of your identity. But understand this clearly. Growth will always require you to let go of something in order to step into something greater. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity here. Do not cling to what is being released. Do not fight to maintain connections that are naturally fading. Do not force alignment where it no longer exists. Because when you try to hold on to what is meant to fall away, you create resistance within yourself that slows your own progression. And this is where your trust must deepen. Because separation rarely comes with full explanation. It does not always give you clear reasons. It does not always provide closure in the way you expect. Sometimes, it simply happens. And your role is not to understand every detail. Your role is to recognize the direction. Because as you elevate, your environment must reflect that elevation. The energy around you must support what you are becoming, not contradict it. The connections in your life must align with your awareness, not pull you back into old patterns. And this alignment cannot happen if everything stays the same. This is why separation is necessary. Not to isolate you, but to protect you. Not to leave you empty, but to make space. Not to take something from you, but to ensure that what remains is fully aligned with where you are going. And as this process unfolds, you may feel moments of discomfort. Moments where you miss what used to be. Moments where you question whether you are making the right choices. Moments where you feel the absence of what once filled your space. But these moments are temporary. Because what is leaving your life is making room for what is meant to enter it. And what is coming will not require you to shrink. It will not require you to explain yourself. It will not require you to compromise your awareness. It will meet you at the level you have stepped into. This is the purpose of separation. It ensures that what surrounds you reflects who you are becoming, not who you used to be. And once you accept this, once you stop resisting it, once you allow it to unfold without trying to control it, you will begin to feel a different kind of peace. A peace that does not come from familiarity, but from alignment. A peace that does not depend on who is around you, but on what is right for you. A peace that confirms that even in moments of change, you are exactly where you need to be. So do not fear the distance. Do not resist the release. Do not question the shift. Trust it. Because what is leaving was not meant to carry you forward, and what is coming will meet you at your elevation. Type I release and receive in the comments. Blessing code 1010 is now aligning your environment with your elevation. Now that the gift has been received, now that the transformation has begun, now that separation has created space for alignment, there is one more reality you must fully step into. Because receiving something rare is only the beginning. The true test is how you carry it, how you protect it, and how you walk in the authority that comes with it. Because not everything that is given is automatically sustained. What is given must be guarded, not in fear, not in anxiety, but in awareness. Because when something of value is placed in your life, your responsibility shifts. You are no longer simply moving through life reacting to what happens around you. You are now moving with intention, with clarity, with an understanding that what you carry has purpose, and that purpose requires protection. And this protection does not come from force. It comes from discipline. It comes from consistency. It comes from alignment in your daily decisions. You will begin to notice that maintaining this new level requires you to move differently than before. The way you spend your time will matter more. The environments you place yourself in will matter more. The conversations you engage in will matter more. Because everything you expose yourself to now has an impact on what you are carrying. This is where many people become careless. They receive something powerful, but they return to old habits. They gain clarity, but they allow confusion back in. They step into alignment, but they revisit what they already outgrew. And slowly, without realizing it, they begin to weaken what was once strong. But you cannot afford to do that now. Because what you have received was not given casually. It was assigned. It was prepared. It was positioned with intention. And Archangel Michael speaks clearly in this phase. Do not treat this gift as something ordinary. Do not assume it will sustain itself without your participation. You must walk in awareness daily. You must remain aligned consistently. You must protect what hath been placed in your life through the way you choose to live. This is where your authority begins to take shape. Not authority over others, but authority over yourself. over your decisions, over your direction, over what you allow and what you refuse. Because authority is not about control, it is about alignment. It is about recognizing that you now have the ability to choose differently, to move differently, to respond differently because of what has been activated within you. You will notice this in small but significant ways. You will begin to say no more easily when something does not feel right. You will begin to walk away from situations without needing to explain yourself. You will begin to trust your own judgment without constantly seeking reassurance. And this is where your strength becomes visible, not through force, but through consistency. Because protection is not something you turn on when you feel threatened. It is something you maintain as a standard, every day, in every decision, in every interaction, in every direction you choose. And as you walk in this awareness, something else will begin to happen. You will feel a deeper sense of stability, a grounding that was not there before, a quiet confidence that does not need to be proven, explained, or validated by anyone else. This is the result of walking in alignment. This is the result of protecting what had been given to you. This is the result of stepping fully into the authority that comes with receiving something rare. And while others may still be trying to understand what has changed about you, you will no longer feel the need to explain it. Because you will know that what you carry speaks for itself. Your presence will reflect it. Your decisions will reflect it. Your direction will reflect it. And over time, everything around you will begin to align with its standard. Opportunities that do not match your level will naturally fall away. Situations that do not support your growth will lose their hold. And what remains will be what is truly aligned with who you have become. This is what it means to walk in protection. This is what it means to walk in authority. It is not something you announce. It is something you embody. So from this moment forward, remain aware, remain disciplined, remain aligned, because what you have received is not temporary. It is something that will continue to shape your path if you choose to carry it with intention. Type "I walk in authority" in the comments. Blessing code 1113 is now strengthening your protection and alignment. Now you stand at the edge of something that cannot be undone, something that cannot be reversed, something that has already been set into motion long before you became aware of it. This is not the beginning anymore. This is not preparation anymore. This is not anticipation anymore. This is the moment of decision. The moment where everything you have felt, everything you have sensed, everything you have been guided through now requires a response from you. Because heaven does not release something this precise, this intentional, this rare without expecting you to step into it. And that is where you are right now. Standing at the threshold. Aware. Awakened. Positioned. But still holding the power to either step forward or hesitate. And listen carefully. Hesitation is the only thing that can delay what has already been aligned. Not opposition. Not misunderstanding. Not the reactions of others. Only hesitation. Because the moment you begin to second-guess what you already know, the moment you start to shrink back into what feels safe instead of stepping into what feels right, the moment you allow fear or doubt to override clarity, you slow your own movement into what has already been prepared for you. Archangel Michael speaks now with unmistakable authority. Do not stand at the doorway and question whether you should enter. You have already been brought here. You have already been shown what you need to see. You have already been given the awareness required to recognize this moment. There is nothing left for you to wait for. This is where you move. This is where you act. This is where you step fully into what has been released. Because everything behind you has already served its purpose. The waiting served its purpose. The confusion served its purpose. The resistance served its purpose. The testing served its purpose. Even the separation served its purpose. None of it was wasted. None of it was meaningless. You all led to this moment. And now, you are no longer the same person who started this journey. You see differently. You feel differently. You understand differently. And because of that, you must move differently. You cannot return to the same patterns. You cannot entertain the same distractions. You cannot shrink your awareness just to maintain comfort with what is familiar. You have outgrown that. And deep down, you already know it. This is why this moment feels so intense. This is why it feels so real. Because your spirit recognizes that this is not just another phase. This is a shift. A defining shift. The kind of shift that changes direction permanently. And once you step into it, everything begins to align at a level that cannot be undone. Paths will open that you could not access before. Clarity will deepen in ways you could not reach before. Opportunities will begin to appear that match who you have become, not who you used to be. And all of it will confirm what you already feel right now, that this moment matters. That this shift is real. That this gift was meant for you. But none of it will fully unfold if you remain passive. You must engage with it. You must step into it. You must move forward with intention, not hesitation. Because what hath been released to you is not waiting to be questioned. It is waiting to be activated. And activation requires action. Not perfect action. Not fully understood action. But aligned action. The kind of action that comes from trust. The kind of action that comes from clarity. The kind of action that comes from knowing, even when you cannot explain. So this is your final call. Not to think more. Not to analyze more. Not to wait longer. But to step forward. Fully. Confidently. Without looking back. Because what is ahead of you has already been prepared to meet you at your level. And the moment you step into it, everything begins to move. Type "I step forward" now in the comments. Blessing code 1212 is now sealing your alignment and activating your next phase. As you step into this final call, understand this truth. Your obedience does not end with you. It echoes into the lives of others who are still waiting for their moment of awakening. Every time you support this mission through super thanks or through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code on your screen, you are not just giving. You are sowing light into souls that are still walking in darkness. The Lord declares, "Whoever sows generously will also reap generously," and this is your moment to step into that living promise. I speak this over you now. As you release your seed, heaven releases increase, protection, and divine acceleration over your life. This is not a suggestion. It is a divine invitation to act in alignment with what has been placed in your hands. Give now, respond now, and become a vessel through which God reaches others.